Welcome back to Advertising is Dead. We talked to Kabir. Hi, Kabir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you for having me.
Uh, I want to start off by asking a slightly broader question, right? Is that there are categories which you look at as saying, okay, this is pretty much built for D2C, right? Top of mind will come to like 50 things like that. What your product focuses on doesn't come top of mind when you think D2C. So, how did the thought process start for you to kind of build it out? And also, like, what did you have to kind of like look beyond what is prevalent in this space as you said to start the company?
Absolutely. I think it's a great question because sleep has been ignored for many years, I think, especially in India. The reason being so is that it's been very difficult to purchase these products. We haven't had too much education around what's inside, or let's say a mattress, how to purchase it, how much to spend on it. And a huge amount of reliability was actually coming from our parents. This mattress suits you. This is something that you should buy. But what's happening now is that the last mattress was bought by our parents and the next one will be bought by us. So when that shift is taking place, right, is 65% of the population of India, which is under the age of 34, they are the ones realizing the need to invest in rest, own your comfort. They also, aside from the hustle culture, they're realizing that, okay, you know what, sleep is important. We're in the Instagrammable age.
Yeah.
And when they realize that and they head out to the market, the unorganized sector is something they can't deal with. It's obviously lower quality material, which dominated most of India and still does in terms of its purchasing power. And once they realize that that's something they can't deal with in quality, in haggling, and they go to these stores and the traditional retail stores, which are these big name players, they've been dealing with these products for ages, but commoditizing it. It hasn't been fun. Like, you don't have any fun in going mattress shopping there's something.
I can think of the weirdest places I have ended up going and buying mattresses from, and they never were like I was reading an article which said that it felt like something you'd go to where in a movie you suddenly have someone come out with a chainsaw. Like I read an article about the sleep economy. So that's the problem with mattress stores generally. Was it they just
Yeah,
generally didn't
absolutely.
seem welcoming.
It's not fun, and people, and you spend money on it, right? It's a need-based product. You need a mattress, a pillow, a comforter, but there's no joy in going mattress shopping like it is in the West.
Yeah.
When you move into a home in India, you have joy buying a TV for your house, a sofa for your house. But it's 2021 and it's just been ignored and commoditized. And it's largely because of how it's being sold. I think the traditional retail players, though they're growing in branded mattresses, it's mattress is the most expensive item to sell per square foot of the real estate industry because it's just that large. And everyone in the chain requires a margin, from a manufacturer to a distributor to a dealer to the end retailer. Even he needs a certain amount to come deliver the product to you in its open state 10 floors up. So the entire chain made a mattress very expensive. So in today's world, when the younger audience is looking for a better quality sleep product and a hotel bed kind of a feel, when they go to a store to try to achieve that, they're faced with salespeople who have a salary which is very less for them to even understand what's going to suit your back. And through the entire chain, they go from store to store, they spend time, they don't know what's inside of it, too many choices, they just settle for something and it comes home, they don't like it. At the end of the day, they spend a bomb, they're stuck. So I think it's not been welcoming, it's not been fun. And that's the reason this change is taking place. And the two things which are taking place. And I always mention to people, one is that we are changing the way you shop for this product. Faster, better, cheaper, direct from factory in a small box. No risk involved. You can return it if you don't like it for 100% refund. The other thing is very important is that there hasn't been change in what you consume as well.
Yeah.
In terms of what fiber, what fabric will suit the climate, what form is meant for you. So these are the two things that we are moving forward with. And our focus is very heavy on innovation and quality so that people do realize their time of rest and want to invest in it. And it's not more important any other time than now.
You mentioned comes in a box, right? That is not something I would ever associate with a mattress, because mattresses were generally like, you have to get it from a store to your house. There was the way to kind of get it. Then there was, how do you get it into the lift? There was, if you didn't have a lift, then how to get it up the stairs? There's all those things there. when you look at a consumer today versus someone who would want to, if I go a couple of generations back, do you think it's almost a need saying, okay, I can get everything else with a certain level of convenience. Why can't I have this on one end? And obviously the other side is that we're also looking at how we sleep a lot better. So when you do the mix of things, how do you weigh them out? Or rather, how do you kind of find that mix of saying, okay, what do we focus on in this side of things and what do we focus on that?
Yeah, on the first part, I think it's a huge value proposition for a consumer. Think about IRCTC railway booking platform. Before it existed, everyone would go to the train station to book a ticket. Now no one will go. So the same thing with mattresses. We are offering a very high value proposition that is making it much simpler for people to purchase this product. It is simplified. You don't have 12 choices. You won't go to a store and see 12 maroon color fabric mattresses lined up or white color and you have no idea what's inside of it. You come online, it's simply explained. It's an Instagram you can relate to. It's a website that has a very easy cross section of 2 mattresses, and which is available in all sizes possible with all the features. It's delivered now in 48 hours across the country. That's how we set up, and a lot of people do set up. And at the end of the day, it comes into a small box. And the reason it does is that because we're able to compress high quality foam into a very thin sheet and then roll it into a box. Imagine a smiley ball. We all have that on a table. If you squeeze it as much as you can, and you release it, it'll go back to its original shape. So essentially a good quality foam mattress, the same thing can happen with 100 tons of force. And putting it in a box enables us to cut out all the middlemen. So we manufacture at our factory and we directly ship it to your doorstep with zero to very nil logistics cost compared to the current industry. So that's what makes it an easier purchase journey for a consumer. It's something he can relate to, and now he's buying into much higher quality product at a quarter of the price of the industry.
And on the other end of things, there is this conversation, and you touched upon it initially, but how we're looking at sleep differently. Right? We were always told this, okay, sleep 8 hours a day. That's pretty much it. I don't think there was any other mention around sleep, at least through childhood till recently. Beyond that, it was never about how you're sleeping. It's like just make sure you sleep. Now, when you're looking at how products around sleep, and I think the term now is sleep economy, kind of are being created. What do you kind of see consumers looking for? What do you see them looking for, just from the quality of sleep that they want to get, and then what they're kind of looking for?
I think now people are realizing their own need for the kind of quality of sleep that they require. That's a super important part of it, because people didn't realize their own need for, hey, how I want to sleep. They were just provided with sleep products which are passed on from generations, or something that already exists at let's say, a rented flat, and they live with it. But now they realize the need to own their own comfort in terms of, okay, how well do I enjoy my time in bed, even when I'm not sleeping, during the day, the Sunday evening, watching Netflix, reading a book. What makes me sleep better? What sports people? What makes me recover better? Right? What helps? Which products help? I think from that perspective, a lot of people are realizing that, okay, a better pillow. I want a hotel-like feel. They've traveled, they've had experiences. They want a mattress that's soft enough that they can stay in bed for long enough. So people are realizing what suits them and to invest in that. That was missing during this time. And now, because of the Instagrammable age and people realizing the need for sleep and the importance for rest and their body, it's becoming they are becoming increasingly aware of what product works for them. That's the exciting part of it right now.
And how do you, and while all this is there, and look at a product that you mentioned the term commoditized early on, right? I think that was an interesting term, because there are many categories of products that have been commoditized. And so when you look at those products and you see that, how do I kind of, you're not just appealing to someone who's looking to buy it now, you might actually look at someone who has had a mattress for long time, someone in a different age group. How do you, and it's not just about packaging, how do you kind of look at communicating with them? How do you kind of start building that relationship? Because another question someone might have is saying, how do I make sure this is a long-term thing? How do I make sure it's not a one-off purchase and kind of, and then they kind of disappear as a customer for you? So how do you kind of communicate with them and make sure that that relationship stays?
It's a good, interesting point, because a lot of people ask, mattress is, and usually it's 7 to 10 years as a max. We tend to use it much longer out here in India. But with people right now are realizing that mattress is not the end of it. You have so much repeat purchases. If I buy product A and B from a certain company, product C and D, I realize it's going to be that much more comfortable as well. The entire sleep economy comprises of, let's say, mattresses, comforters, pillows. All of these are need-based. Sheets, you can't sleep without them, right? And no one has looked at it from a point of happiness and joy and how they want to build their own space and their own bed. So hence it's been commoditized, where people just go to the market to complete the purchase and haven't had any fun in purchasing these items. Not till you can deliver them on the internet, tell them that, okay, we've simplified it. This is our journey. This is my factory. I make it for you. This is the fiber and foam I've chosen for you. This is what's going to suit you and you're going to love it. This is perfect for the Indian climate, right? They follow you on marketing. They follow you on Instagram. They realize the need to sleep better. They realize what it can do for your body the next day. You sleep better, you win the next day. So through that journey, there is a lot of investing happening in all sleep products. We have everything from a mattress to, let's say, even dog beds, right? We cover sleep.
Yeah.
I
literally have one behind me where I'm sitting because I have a elderly dog who needs one.
Yeah, and elderly dogs need orthopedic beds, because they have like hip joint problems, and that's the coverage which needs to take place, and people spending more time at home and realizing the need for that, realizing the need for weighted blankets, pressure point therapy helps you sleep better. It hugs you. It adds that weight while you're sleeping. So people, and especially the younger generation, are very aware, and that's the exciting part, because once they are really looking for a company to fulfill these needs. And when you're combining all of these products together, it's a huge basket of products for India.
I want to take a bit of a step back and ask you this: is that what got you started in this space? Because I do know that you had gone a route of being an investment banker, if my research does me justice.
Yes.
And then you kind of kicked off this journey, and I also want to know what were the initial steps? What were your initial, or rather, what are the preconceived notions you came into this with, and then what kind of changed and what surprised you?
Yeah, actually, I have an interesting journey through that, and that's how I stumbled upon SleepyCat. So investment banking was at around 2015, and then I always thought I'll join family business, very different, into modular furniture. So I'm from Calcutta, came back here and thought, what should I be doing? At least something by myself while working in the family business. And that's when I realized that, okay, you know what? I spent time in America when I was studying there, and man, we had so much fun buying mattresses, amazing sheets, pillows,
That's
comforters.
a sentence I have never heard. I have never heard the like in a
It will be
regular
now.
store experience scenario. I have never heard someone say, in walking to a store, saying, "I had such a great experience buying a mattress." So I'm like, that's I'm happy it's moving
And
towards
that's
that.
sad, right? That
Yeah,
people don't
it's so
have that
bad.
experience out here.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to change. So in America, it's so much fun, right? Oh my God, these fluffy comforters and pillows and down and feather pillows. It makes it feel like a hotel bed. So we used to enjoy buying these products, right? So when I came back to Calcutta, I had a traditional retail brand that I knew of, and they wanted someone trustable to work with. So I took on the franchisee for that for East India. And I thought, okay, you know what? There is a need, because people do spend a lot on their homes in terms of the living room, the kitchen, and every other furniture. But maybe they don't have a brand to go to fulfill their needs of their bedroom and provide these luxury products that we've been getting abroad. So that's when I took up the traditional way, set up sleep studios, went into for regular distributorship, working on hotel projects. And I started that off in around 2016 beginning. And 6 months through the journey, I was really finding it troublesome. because I went through the pain myself. I used to be on the retail floor on days, and I used to see customers walking in, and they would have 8 mattresses laid out. Even though the place looked really nice, it smelled like a spa. It gave you that feeling, right? But they would go from one mattress to the other and just be confused, and then go to the next store, just trying to bargain to see which gets the best price. And it's a myth. You don't need so many different kinds of mattresses for different people, right?
Yeah.
It's it's just like 1, 2 mattresses will suit 95% of the people. It's just rarely, if you require something different, you would go out looking for it. So people will be confused, right, when seeing so much choice, and they have no education in what to spend on a mattress, what's inside a mattress. We've been coming from the age of Gadawalas, where everything was basic, like mera ghar aao, whatever you give me, I'll sleep on that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So when they started looking for mattresses, they didn't know how, and they didn't know for what and what pricing. So I used to see them being confused. If they ever made up their mind, they would be wondering, dude, what is this good mattress so expensive? And I'm like, yes. And then I realized why it's so expensive when I was working through this journey. After that, logistics. I used to pay a bomb for the mattress to be sent from the manufacturing facility to me. And I had this experience once where there was a customer who purchased 2 mattresses, and that time these were the luxury mattresses which I was selling for 1 lakh each. So they bought 2 mattresses for 2 lakhs. Came after 3 weeks. I had to hire another small truck, spend money. India, we don't have service elevators. I had to hire 8 people to walk up 20 floors to deliver the mattress, only to realize this 12-inch thick spring mattress, once it reaches his doorstep, it cannot get through his bedroom door because it couldn't bend. And there was a passage on the way. So I was like, dude, this is crazy, man. Like it's so difficult. And all these pain points, I remember one day I just wrote them down on a piece of paper, tissue paper, and like, dude, these have to be solved. And I stumbled upon what's happening in the West, but the West was disrupting an existing luxury market. Saying that, okay, mattresses sold at 4,000, now I sell for $1,000. But in India, there is no mattress market that was developed at all.
Yeah.
So the idea was how to develop and maybe try and disrupt at the same time. So I failed in that journey of mine. And that's when I learned, I like, okay, you know what, let's make the decision now. It was 6 to 8 months through that journey. I was like, this has to change. I stopped. I traveled to factories, the Chandni Chowks of India, learned everything about mattresses and foam, and then started SleepyCat in its small way to solve this problem.
You know, what you spoke about is honestly, I think one of the primary. There are 2 things I pick from that. Right, one is that all companies kind of start off when they know how to scale, because you start with the problem and you in many ways lived the problem across all touch points, including the consumer side. And on the other end also, it's like it's almost a gap, right? It's a gap that wasn't really addressed because I don't think anybody even saw that as a gap till it came up, and there's something that kind of spark up, something that start like one person saying it's literally that thing about the guy looking up in the air and everybody starts looking up in the air. But in this case, it actually makes sense because we've never paid attention that we all worried, like wondered about why does my back pain when I wake up in the morning? Why is my neck stiff? Which is the problem I suffer with for years, and so on and so forth. And so when there's the consumer problem, there's also the delivery problem, which I think is the most interesting part of what you just said, is because it's just so much complication. And if you can actually customize it yourself, then it just makes it simpler. I think it makes it simpler for you as well, right? The way you are able to retail now online, that makes it simpler for you. So do you see that being simpler in most cases? And where does it get difficult? Would be my flip question.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, it does become, what makes it simpler for us is also simplifying choice, which is actually much simple. It's much better for a consumer as well, because he comes on board and he sees, okay, you know what, 2 kinds of mattresses. I know what my need is. It has all the features possible. I just have to choose my size. That simplicity, which we want to deliver to a consumer, ends up being simple for us as well. So we just focus on high quality innovation, but okay, you know, the perfect mattress, the perfect fiber pillow, the perfect memory foam pillow. You can choose from each one of them. And we spend time on innovation and quality, but this simplicity for a consumer works out much better for us as well. And this enables us to have a lesser number of SKUs, and then hence warehousing touch points all throughout the country, where we can have those SKUs and sizes available for 48-hour delivery, which if you
Mhm.
had today a huge catalog of products, it's an immense amount of money being spent on inventory and working capital. So trying to solve a problem for a consumer, and that's how we look at business, right? Is the impact that we have on someone else and not necessarily ourselves. But with the impact that you have for someone else, that's where you gain itself.
Mm. Yep, I have a bunch more questions, and especially on the sleep economy, because I've been intrigued by it in recent years. But I know we need to go for a break. I've just got my first prompt saying we need to go for a break. So we're going to go for a break and be right back with Advertising is Dead. Welcome back to Advertising is Dead. We're still talking to Kabir. Um, Kabir, I want to go a little broader on the sleep economy, right? Because I think the conversation around sleep is nascent. We're all suddenly reading about it. We're listening to podcasts about it. We're hearing stuff about it. The name Matthew Walker seems to pop up everywhere. You look with him talking about how you should sleep and when you should have coffee and everything else. Um, when all of that focus is happening beyond, let's say, physical products, also tech products coming up, everything else. So what do you see the opportunity like in the sleep economy in a broader sense?
Firstly, I think it's a super exciting space which goes beyond these products. We are trying to solve the first level of it, which is
Mm.
how you consume and what you consume. But there's a lot more of sleep that's exciting than just these products. When you talk about, first we divide sleep into two phases actually. Long recharges and short recharges. Long recharges is, your 8 hours of sleep. And
Mm.
what about short recharge? What about sleep on the move? What about
Mhm.
sleep on your Uber, sleep on your flight? What about sleepwear that you can step out and that you can be comfortable in? There's a
Yeah.
lot to do with the sleep economy. There's a lot to do with technology. People ever-ending need to realize, how do I sleep better? How do I wake up fresh? We are testing technology on that front to see if we can non-wearable devices inserted into mattresses, so that people realize and get a complete package together, and then realize how they sleep better. It ties up to smart home systems. If you can step out of your mattress and it recognizes your smart light bulb, and the night light comes on at that moment because you realize you just jumped out of your mattress, maybe go to the bathroom at night. So I think sleep requires a lot of thought. It requires from the long recharges, from the short recharges, to sleep technology. And beyond that, there's so much to be built within the sleep community as well. You want to have a platform where people can exchange, how do I sleep better? What's your nighttime routine? Sleep is important, that you even distinguish it from the day to the night by having a hot shower and putting your AC at a certain temperature, having your tea and your book there
Mm.
on the side of you, and getting to bed by a certain time. It's better for the body.
Mhm.
So for us, and that's our ultimate goal. Like, we want to touch upon the different touch points of sleep that cater to you. And as you mentioned, it's not only about products is the first step of it,
Mm.
that we own this practice,
Mm.
but we have a long way to go.
And what surprised you about the consumer through your journey so far? Because you would have gone in saying, okay, maybe the Indian consumer hasn't evolved to a certain point. I mean, we all, I think most of us don't give consumers their due in terms of what they can actually behave like. Um, so what I actually want to hear from you is saying, what in terms of what insights have you gotten about this, about the Indian consumer, especially focused on this space, since you started off?
I think one is that the consumer so well educated and aware right now to buy mattresses online firstly.
Mm.
And that's a great thing. That's the last thing you would think would kick off
Mm.
online,
Yeah.
which is such a touch and feel product.
Yeah.
So it's necessary that obviously in the future that it has an omni-channel approach. But
Mm.
what does excite me is people coming online and having the risk appetite to try a mattress, buy it
Mm.
online. What also excites me is that you see that 95% of people require just one kind of mattress, so it does
Mm.
hold true for what people otherwise thought of, that I need a hard mattress, I need a soft mattress.
Yeah.
What I also love is that in hotels abroad, you get, let's say, president style pillows, you get these fluffy comforters, you get soft mattresses. I see that being widely accepted here as well. I just feel that people didn't have the opportunity and an avenue to buy these products earlier, right? Like no one was selling these large pillows of 20 by 32. We sell president style pillows, right? People sell the regular ones which go into regular pillowcases, but there's a demand for more. There's a demand for you to come into your bed, own your space, and just sink into it. And they want products that can give that to them. Even like with weighted blankets, you would assume that it's something that won't kick off here. People are not ready for it. People don't know about it, but it works superbly well. So I am actually surprised and very excited to see the Indian consumers being quite adventurous and are ready for products. Actually, it's just they didn't have someone who delivered for them.
No, even categories like, I remember when we were expecting our daughter, to try and find the large pillow that any woman who's pregnant needs to have. So tough. You had to look everywhere and figured one small retailer somewhere who was selling it. And I also felt that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, most people have looked at those as, okay, how many people will buy it? So let's not make it. Would that have been the reason why these weren't available? Like even the dog bed, right? People would just get like an own mattress, cut it up. But the fact that an elderly dog requires certain kind of mattress, etc. Are you seeing the fact that either people are knowing more now, or why do you think these weren't even around? Considering we had so many mattresses in mattress stores before, why weren't these around?
See, I think it's not people, because I think a lot of brands look at it from the point of sales, right? Like, hey, how many am I going to sell of this product? But when you solve for product from a perspective of need, right? That what is required for a consumer, that I want to make an impact to someone's life, right? I want to make sure that they can live better, they can be more comfortable. And you look to solve it from that perspective, then it works the other way around. Then let's say sales comes to you because you are solving a problem. With our dog beds, even the fabric, we took like 10 months to develop it. It's tear-proof, it's waterproof, it's shoe-proof, it's odor-resistant. These are problems, right? Yeah. It's not just a regular mattress.
Because dog beds were traditionally always smelt the worst. Like they were like, you would not want to be in like a 1 meter radius of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, right, I mean, it's an inherent need to solve a problem, right? And that's what we live by. We are very excited by innovation. We are very excited with the impact that we have on someone's lives. So our products are very thought after from that perspective, whether it's these weighted blankets, whether it's the pregnancy cuddle pillow, what we call it, and my God, that's amazing, man. I can't sleep without it too. It's just so good. Yeah. So people realize that, okay, and there's science behind it as well, right? It's hug therapies, special therapy. You sleep longer when you sleep with a pillow like that. So once you look at it from that perspective and you want to fulfill a need, it becomes much easier because you're first solving for a consumer and not for yourself.
I want to ask you this, and I ask most entrepreneurs is that what have you realized about yourself through this journey? Because I feel like being an entrepreneur also makes you realize a lot of stuff about how you function, what you've learned, and all that stuff. So I'd love to know what you learned through this process about yourself and how you function, and what have you kind of learned along the way?
Yeah, I mean, on off work and on work, it's separate, but I've also learned how important it is for me to invest in my rest. I think that's really a big point to any entrepreneur journey, discipline, timing, separating night from the day, office from home, right? And through the process of these products, I've learned how to use them at different times and for different purposes, right? You can use your bed by day. You can use bed for the night differently. How to cut off and the importance of that rest, and the more you learn about it, the more we are reading about it, the more we keep backing it with science when we are doing innovation and quality. We realize how we should be an advocate of it ourselves. And that made me introduce comfort first with the team in terms of its culture, with our people, that everyone has the opportunity to be comfortable in coming to work. Work few days at home if you want to. Comfort starts at home.
Yeah.
If we don't practice it ourselves, we can't sell it to consumers on that front. So that's really taught me how to take care of, let's say, everyone who's in our organization. And comfort starts at home. That's one aspect of it. And I think that both of it mostly covers my on and off work. I think it's super important.
Um, a large part of the audience of this podcast are people at different stages in their career, right? Are people kind of kicking it off, people who are looking at finding a mid-career opportunity, etc. And most of them tend to look at the standard categories, standard roles, and stuff like that. And what they want to know is, what more could I actually do, especially in sectors like yours, which is kind of opening up right now. What do you feel the career opportunities are, and what if I want to work in, say, the sleep economy? What should I kind of like upskill myself on? What should I kind of learn, and what kind of a mindset do I need to come in with?
Yeah, I think the two areas at SleepyCat which are super interesting. One is customer experience, and by that I don't mean the support of having like a CSAT score, just answering a call, or just working on NPS. But it's about building a relationship with your consumer that when they call you, it can be like, hey, how are you doing? What mattress did you sleep on last night? Or how well did you sleep last night? Right? We are looking for a lot of people that can come and build a relationship and be able to be an advocate for sleep and help people through their journey, not only purchasing our products, but at any time, let's say they have difficulty sleeping or just want a few tips. Our goal is also to tie up with, let's say, sleep experts who want to come join us, who can actually provide information. So there is a very, I think there's a large need which is nascently covered in that area. So a role like that is something which is super exciting. People can skill themselves on because there's a huge community to be built on that front. And the other exciting part is products. We actually would love mattress testers who will just build mattresses and sleep on them and say, oh my God, this is good. Oh my God, I love this. Oh, these pillows are amazing. It's going to sell. We do that all day and it's super exciting. So someone who has that knowledge, please.
How do you sign up for that job? Like you're
please drop me an email. You'll find it on the internet. But it's a super important need, and we since our focus is product, we have a lot of openings for our product team. We're very excited if someone can come and build and understand these materials with us.
Towards the later part of every episode, I do a segment where I ask my guests a lot of questions about them, and I want to kick that off by asking you, what do you spend a lot of time doing outside of work? What keeps you excited? What other takes your time and is of a vast amount of interest to you outside what you do?
I mean, other than learning and reading, which I think we all do for upskilling, I think the most exciting thing for me is sports. I love playing them. Golf, swimming, football, I work out. I think that I did that all throughout the younger years of my life. Obviously, I have less time to do that now, but you will still find me at least 2 days a week waking up at like 5:45 and heading to the golf course for a quick 9 holes before coming and joining work. I love running. I love swimming. I think I'm a big adventure freak, and that's where I spend a lot of my time. Like if it's any sport, I'm up for it.
It's actually interesting. Any sport is an interesting category because I've always found that people who enjoy sport generally enjoy any sport. And on the other end are people who will try and find, okay, what can I do? And maybe I'll have a certain level of interest in a certain category. But I don't know if I'm generalizing here, but I'm on the other side. I have a few sports I enjoy, but you can't pull me into every sport, which is why I tended to generalize on this front.
I'll tell you why. I think that it does exist with certain people who play. And it's also because I think I had a lot of facilities while growing up, thanks to my parents, thanks to the school I went to. So we had access to everything very easily, right? I'm talking about whether it's swimming pools or football fields or golf, and which is not easy for everyone to have access to. Once you have access to all of them, man, as a kid, you want to play all of them. You'll never stick to
True.
one. You
True.
want to play it all, and once you do, you just get a knack for a certain amount of racket sports or hand-eye coordination, which just helps you jump into another one much easier. You're attracted towards it. You spend your whole day in the club just playing sports. That's what happened for me, and I think that's how it happens for a few people, if there are a few of them who just like enjoy playing all sports.
Have you found that um, because you enjoy sports, have you seen some of that seep into how you function in your day job, if that's the way to call it?
I walk a lot while working. I take all my calls while walking. I think that's something I really do. But other than that, during the day, I have to make some time out because I think that's the only way I clear my head.
Yeah.
People have their own way.
Yeah.
For me, it has to be something activity, being out in the sun.
Anything you read, watched, or listened to recently that you'd recommend?
I mean, right now there's a lot of focus within our teams to reshape OKRs. So I'm currently rereading this book, Measure What Matters. And I think, for a lot of people out there who haven't attempted OKRs yet, I think it's the holy grail. So if you guys are
Explain OKRs to
listening,
me,
starting up.
to a lay person who has no idea what they are.
I think OKRs is a very fantastic way for an organization to have an aligned goal and people to collaborate clearly towards it. The transparency of the goals being listed out for you makes it simple, it makes it attractive, and gives people a huge sense of reason that at every stage, whoever it is, whether it's the head or all the way of an executive working, you are working towards a certain goal and it is being contributed, right? So OKRs, which stands for objectives and then key results. I think it's very exciting when you list down those 2-3 objectives that you want to achieve, and then what are the results that will help you achieve them. It's a lot of alignment all the way to the bottom, and it's very exciting for people. I think it should be done for your entire your entire crew and your company.
And what is generally my last question, which is always a spin-off on the name of the show. Why do you think the growth of the sleep economy will not die?
Sorry, what was that?
Why do you think the growth in the sleep economy will not die?
One is that I think, man, we haven't even grown yet. There's so much to do out here, man. That's the exciting part. And in the entire D2C space and in this entire economy, sleep is the last part of it. But when it hits, it's really going to hit. There's so much to do. And also that sleep has never been in front of the conversation. It's always that when I need to buy a mattress, I'll think about it, or when I need to buy a pillow. So I think sleep first has to come in front of the conversation, and then there is a lot of growth to it. And as I told you, man, we spend a third of our lives on it. It's not only products, there's going to be a lot more beyond products, right? The entire tech, the entire sleep community that you build, sleep on the move, how you perceive comfort. And I think that word of comfort is not just to be used for your 8 hours of sleep at night. So I think there's a lot to be invented in this space. And just holding on to that excitement, I feel there's a lot of growth ahead of us.
Thanks again, Kabir. Thanks for coming on the show. And I think you've almost convinced me to have like a 20-minute nap in the afternoon every day, which is something which I've seen everybody do when I was growing up, and for some reason we've all stopped doing it. So you've almost brought me that point.
Yeah,
of saying,
invest in rest.
Yeah.
It's important. And thank you, Varun, for having me.
IVM